What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come to the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on like today's NBA, right? And how really soft today's NBA is compared to the 90s, and even going back into the 80s, and that because the 80s is when I really first started watching basketball. The Celtics and the Lakers and those legendary battles that the Celtics and the Lakers had. I remember watching the Lakers game, and I actually saw the game when Kurt Rambis was going to. I think he was on a fast break, and he was, he was going to, he was ready to score, and somebody just clotheslined him from the Celtics. Somebody just clotheslined him, and he went up off his feet and landed on his back. Right now, I'm not saying that those kind of plays, should be legal in the NBA, but back in those days, man, you had to earn everything, that you got. Every team was physical. Playing, and I remember watching the Bulls and the Detroit Pistons, right, go at it, and Detroit was called the Bad Boys. You know what I mean? Because the Detroit Pistons, you wasn't scoring 90 points. I think they was holding the years that they won their championship. I think that they were holding their opponents to like under 90 points a game. 80 something points a game. It might even be, I think it was around 80 something points a game. And that's because like physically they just were so, the game was physical. They had a no layup rule for Michael Jordan. They used to beat Mike up. They didn't let Mike. They would rather give Mike a hard foul than a dunk. But they still wound, and those guys still played those 82 games. Those games were physical, and they were good games. But the guys, everybody still played their 82 games, for the most part. And nowadays. These guys, everybody talk about how physically gifted and how athletic these guys are, but they can't stay on the court. You have Joel Embiid missing games. If you even just touch Joel Embiid, he'll go down and he do a lot of flopping and he stay hurt. And you have several players like that. It's really, in today's basketball game, it's really a rarity for a player to play the full 82 games. Can you imagine, I couldn't imagine, I'm living in Baltimore, and if I want to go over to DC and watch the Wizards play, or the Bullets back in the day play the Chicago Bulls, and you get over to the stadium, or you get over to the arena, and Michael Jordan is not playing, they resting him because they know that they can beat the Bullets without Michael Jordan. That just didn't happen. So, and nowadays, you don't know if you buy a season ticket and there's one specific player that you want to see, you there's no guarantee that guy's going to play that game. And then, you spend all this money, and, and that's part of the reason why I believe that basketball is, like the viewership and attendance is down, because it's not the same quality that as it was back in the 80s and the 90s, right? Guys knew how to play basketball then. Right now, it's just all about athletics. It's about either going to the rim and dunking it or shooting a three-pointer. Like, basketball is more efficient. People, they would take one or two dribbles. You dribble to the left or you dribble to the right, you pull up and you shoot. Or you come from behind a screen and you open and you shoot. You just couldn't dribble the ball for 20 for 20 seconds out the clock and then shoot a three-pointer. That three-pointer is there. That shot is there when, at the beginning of the shot clock, the middle of the shot clock, and at the end of the shot clock. That's why, people like Larry Bird, he shot three-pointers when he needed them. And his shooting percentage is on par with the guys who shoot the 3-pointers today. And it might even be a little bit higher because, like I said, he shot the 3-pointer, basically when he needed it, but I never, today's game, man, you see guys working real hard just to get a 3-point shot off. And it's crazy. I used to see back in the day, take any team in the NBA. Basically, it was about passing the ball around until you got somebody got an open shot or got the look that they wanted. And you got your 24-second clock to do that. And those guys, in today's guys, they just don't do that. They're softer. They want more time off. They're saying that the 82 games is a long season. Some players today are even calling for, to shorten the season, which I think now somebody, I'm not sure if it was Charles Barkley that said that if the players of today got paid based on the amount of games that they played, then they will probably play like 200 games a year. Instead of these 80 games, they'll play 200. And so that's the whole thing. It's these guys are they're soft and they're spoiled, and that's why they and they are allowed to get away with the things that they get away with, and that's the big difference between the 90s basketball and this era of basketball that we're watching. That's a big part of why, I think, in my opinion, that attendance is down. You're not seeing the same quality of basketball that people who watched it in the 80s and people who watched it in the 90s and the early 2000s, like they were used to seeing a certain quality of basketball. All this dribbling is just, it's just taken away from the game. All this flopping, I never saw Kobe flop like that. I never saw Magic Johnson or Larry Bird flop like that. And they took hard fouls. So when they got fouled like that, got a hard foul, they expected the refs to call a foul. Because if you continuously flop and then when somebody do foul you hard and you don't get the call, then you cheat yourself because you cried wolf for the whole game, and then when you get fouled at the end of the game and then the ref don't blow the whistle, now you want to complain about the officiating, like how they're reffing the games, and so it's just not good for the game. I don't know what the NBA should do, man, to make it. I don't know. I think and part of the reason why the game is so soft today, I think it's because of the 3-point shot. Everybody can shoot the 3-point shot. The big men don't want to play in the paint no more. It's just crazy. When you got Joel Embiid pulling guys out of the paint that are smaller than him, guys that he will abuse in the paint. To me, it's just crazy. And that's why, in my opinion, the NBA of today is just so soft. Like I said, compared to the NBA in the 80s. That's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know how you feel about today's NBA compared to the 80s and the 90s. With that being said, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out on the next video. Peace.